dead body?
I don't know. Weekend at Bernie's has been talked about for like 3 decades, and that was about a dead body, so.
Yeah, okay. That would be an interesting podcast. Like, wasn't she alive? Don't worry about it. Perfect. Now I don't have to hear her ideas. Her side of the story.
Of the year.
Yeah? Are we only 2 weeks
It's
into
only been 2 weeks.
2026?
Like, yeah, I also want to spend like 10 minutes on the Venezuela thing. I was like, oh, that also happened recently. That feels like a millennia ago.
Well, we captured a dictator and now we're in the middle of a psyop, so year's going pretty good.
Yeah, I can't quite tell if it's a new psyop or if we're just on like stage 3 of the psyop that started with COVID or what.
I would date psyops way before COVID, but
yeah.
like MK Ultra.
Oh, no, I just mean like a continuous one since COVID.
Oh, you mean for this saga?
If we are in the same psyop as started with COVID or if we're in a
So this is like a saga to what we're already.
I see. I just can't quite decide.
Sure. Yeah.
Not that it's up to me.
Or me. Or you.
We're just living it. Ooh, shiny.
Anyway.
Sorry. Oh my god, that is like the second time it's happened on video.
Oh, there's more than that, I'm sure.
Ooh, shiny. Literally comes out of my mouth unironically.
She's a freaking crow over here, you guys.
It's been a night. Our tech problems have not stopped into the new year, so that's fine.
Speaking of sagas, saga of Mandy and Raquel's tech issues.
Oh gosh. I don't know. We don't quite officially have a new name, but welcome to Know or Not to Know.
For now. And my name is Raquel.
For now. Yeah, we are here to keep an open mind. We're here to talk about funky stuff, but have fun doing it, because...
Try to challenge our bias.
Yeah, if I go a little too serious, I'm gonna go crazy. I literally messaged Raquel, like... I thought I was
My sister, so this is I'll explain it to you. I'm sitting on the couch, and I get this message from Mandy, and my sister looks over, and she goes, "Whoa, are you reading someone's diary?"
Renee Good. It just seemed... to me, like there was no way we were all watching the same video because of how dramatically opinionated people were about saying he was directly in front of the car and how like just so sure they were that it's not like kind of here, kind of there. People are saying directly in front of the car. She clearly sped forward. Her tires were not even turned, period, end of story. I mean, I'm understanding that there's nuance here. I'm really trying to not have an opinion because I don't want to let my bias control me. That doesn't seem right. So in my mind, I started kind of having a little bit of a psychosis. Wait a minute. Is the government getting into our devices and we think we're commenting on the same video, but we're being shown two different kinds? Like,
oh, wow. That went way further than my thought process.
I promise I'm not crazy.
No, I don't think you're crazy. I think that's
so
just like
crazy.
A whole like I think the whole thing is meant to make you feel crazy in a way. Like it makes you pull into those deep paranoid thoughts a little bit. It's called the conformity test. And the reason they call it that is because it's something that the CIA has done for a very long time, and even FBI agents and other...
Is that the circle, triangle, square thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought this up to you before,
I think it was off camera, but yes. Go ahead and explain it better.
Yes. They'll run a test. Usually they'll get somebody off of the street to do the test. So usually they'll have about 10 candidates. One of the candidates believes that everybody in the room was also pulled off of the street to do this test.
Right.
What they don't know is 9 of the candidates are a CIA agent at the time that is running the test with the 10th person. And they'll show them a triangle, and they'll go, I want everybody to write down what the shape is, and when it comes to you, you're going to say out loud what you wrote down. Second guy, square. Third guy, square. Fourth guy, square. So what does the guy 9 times out of 10 at the end do? Square. Wow. Because
you said they wrote down ahead of time, so he would have probably already wrote down a triangle and been like,
yeah, no, square. That's...
What?
Because it's so scary to be the only person that says, even though you can see with your own 2 eyes, that's a triangle.
But if your tribe believes that it's a square,
you
are not going to say that it's a triangle because that's way too scary.
It is a deep-rooted feeling inside of us to stay with the tribe so we don't die And I believe that governments for thousands of years have figured this out. And we're just better at controlling it now with technology.
Yeah. I felt crazy. And again, I'm open to being wrong. It's rare on the internet, so I understand when I engage with people of a different opinion that they're
Sure.
automatically going to assume that I am unwilling to change my opinion. So I try really hard to preface, hey, this is kind of what I think, but I really don't know. Can you help me understand where you got this information from? I really want to help convince me, please.
Sure.
Because I don't necessarily want to be tricked into believing this just because I believe it in my heart. If it's not true, it's not true. I don't want to believe something false. Anyways, so a lot of times I have success. The past couple of months, I've had tons of debates, conversations with people, totally different ends of the spectrum of opinions.
Right.
We come down to, oh, wow, that was really cool. Hey, thanks for the comments. Thanks for the discourse. That was awesome. Still think this way, but I really totally understand where you're coming from now.
Right.
Both parties are happy, good, go our separate ways. This video, these are really strong opinions one way or the other when it's kind of seems nuanced. Maybe I'm wrong. I was like, are we looking at something else? Thought process. And then I'm having this conversation with a guy who has a different opinion than, because I didn't necessarily see, oh, she definitely did nothing wrong, but it did seem, in my opinion, excessive. Anyways, I digress. I still don't really know how I feel. But
At least you're very honest about that.
in the conversation, that was obviously the stake that he saw me in, is very much pro Renee Good, bad ICE agent. Not that I felt that way, but that's how he was approaching the conversation.
He put you in that box.
Yeah, and again, I understand that. I didn't blame him for that, so I am having respectable replies to him. And his replies to me, it was as if he was reading a completely different comment. Like, I'm saying, oh, hey, oh, that's really interesting. This is what I saw, but I was kind of what was it? What did I ask? He said she clearly went straight forward, and I was like, okay, she would have ended up directly across the street, correct? Perpendicular with the sidewalk. Is that the case, or did she, like in my video, end up the street somewhat parallel to the side of the street?
So you're clearly commenting, trying to get more information.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, just wondering, what do you see with your eyes?
Sure.
Like, no opinions, just did she end up perpendicular with the street completely across the street from where she started, or was she across the street and up the street, which is what the video... Now I know we all saw the same video.
Yes.
But at the time, I was like, what is happening? I was reeling. So, again, I digress. His response was literally, oh, liberal, brainwash, look at you, nothing I can say is going to change your mind, blah. I was like, wait, what? What? I didn't even have an opinion there.
Yeah.
So are my comments being changed also? Like, what is happening? To the point that I literally screenshotted my comment, replied to the comment, and said, please, can somebody tell me what this says?
So a side effect of the Ash conformity test is also having a prepared argument no matter what that person says, because you don't necessarily have a real argument, right? Like when they confront you and they go, well, it's clearly a triangle, so why'd you put square? You're immediately going to try to defend themselves. And so they're already like kind of rehearsed like a little argument as to why.
So you think that people aren't even actually reading and responding to me, but just responding to what they assume I said?
I think that they're 100% assuming that if you're not with us, then you're against us.
What is the point of these discussions, guys? Like, why are we taking part in discussions that are with a wall?
I think that some people, I don't think everybody feels this way on either conservative, libertarian, or liberal side. I don't think a lot of even the normal majority feels this way. But I do feel that on all parties there is a push for it. Only sometimes I feel like out of pure boredom. I don't even necessarily think that all things like that come down to government conspiracy. I think that one side would be very bored without the other side. I think some people very much enjoy the argument.
Yeah.
And that's where two people's lives, or a bunch of people, Charlie Kirk's life, other people's lives, have been put in this, the post that you sent to me. They're subhuman, but not necessarily because of what side they're on, just because they're good for a good show.
Yeah.
Twisted, but I feel like you'd see that more than you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, it really hurts me.
Yeah.
This hurts my heart.
It's a bit disgusting. That's where I don't like thinking about people subhuman. I didn't want
Yeah.
that woman to die any more than I want anybody
Yeah,
else to die.
not at all.
No.
And that's where I don't understand the arguments that completely get away from the point. Like, all of a sudden it's like, well, she did this. Oh, clearly she's possessed by a demon in this protest
Oh,
picture. And, like,
sure.
why doesn't none of that matters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
None of that matters.
I
It was
love
a
the
human
extremists.
driving a car
Right.
that happened to have a really
Now-
intense situation. An ICE agent that happened to be doing a job panicked and made a split-second decision, right or wrong.
Now,
It happened.
I will bring up some other points to the argument. I think it's only fair. Her partner, people kept calling her lesbian friend.
It was her
I'm
wife. They're married.
Assuming it was her wife.
Yeah, they are legally married.
Okay, I don't know why everybody kept using that. I saw it in multiple chat areas too.
It's a way to just diminish their
Sure.
being somehow.
I know. It was just odd because even like to New York Post, I wouldn't think that would have used it. I assumed they would have used wife, but I don't know. Anyway, so her wife was outside of the car provoking.
Yeah. And to be fair, she has come forward and shown so much guilt and says, I was responsible. I caused this. I told her to drive away. She knows and acknowledges her part that she played.
Well,
But agree, she was being a little bit crazy.
I commend her for taking accountability. That's huge, and I'm sure a lot of people on what I say, my side of the algorithm will never see that. I think that's important to share.
Yeah.
That she did take some accountability there, but I definitely think both people were in a situation they just shouldn't have been in. ICE agents should be allowed to do their job.
Yeah.
Every country has their form of ICE agents. You'd be treated the same way if you were somewhere like in France illegally.
And that's why are we arguing about the wrong thing? That was what I kept wondering. And it's really hard to find out what happened in the 5 to 10 minutes prior to those videos.
Right.
Like, why were they even there? And the best that I was able to gather, so an ICE vehicle got stuck. I don't know if it was a flat tire. They broke down, they got stuck. So more ICE people came to fix the car, get them pulled out, whatever it was. Because they were stuck there, then some people started coming in. It was also drop-off. There was a school really close by that drop-off had just happened. Anyways, curiosity, everyone started gathering, wondering why all these ICE people are there. They had completed an operation, so they were about to go back and be done. It seemed like Renee Good lived right there or close by and just happened to be in the way. There is, at the beginning of one of the videos, you can see he does wave an ICE vehicle by, and she's awkwardly positioned. But I don't understand why that got her approached. Nobody can answer that. Why did they approach her to begin with?
Well, from what I've understood is that they were there intentionally to protest ICE agents. Now, you're saying that they weren't there, like she waved an ICE agent on. And then I've also heard the other side where she was just dropping her kids off at daycare.
Yeah, she had dropped her kid off at school at the drop-off that was really close to where the incident happened, which is also an argument that he was very irresponsible to discharge a firearm, period, end of story, because of children being within a mile. But...
Sure, but I mean, we allow, up in our state, we allow gun security guards at schools, so I mean...
So, I don't know.
But regardless of what she was doing there, it looked like to me they provoked them, and that's why they started walking over to them. So I'm pretty sure it was the wife grabbing their attention, and that's how they ended up in that situation. And a lot of ICE agents have been vehicles and followed by vehicles. There's even people that do TikTok lives where they're following ICE agents around and harassing them. At the end of the day, they have a job to do.
Which that is scary. I can totally... Just from a humanity perspective, I can kind of understand why they cover their faces, because they are going to be targeted.
And they have families and children and wives and people to take care of. So I'm sure that is a scary, terrifying thing. Unfortunately, I blame society for Renee Good feeling like that was the right thing to do. Doesn't matter if it was the right or the left that made her feel that way. It's that we don't need to be putting that much pressure on people that they feel they need to go out there and put their lives at risk. You know what I mean? And it's kind of the same thing with... Well, anyway, I digress.
Yeah, it's icky though. But through my just trying to not feel crazy, I, of course, kind of let go. I still refuse to even try to come up with an opinion. I just want a full investigation. Whatever they come up with, they come up with.
Yes.
With that said, I came across somebody using the analogy of the gold dress, blue dress situation. That this, what I was witnessing of feeling like we must be seeing two completely different videos, is much more similar to the dress. It was the same photo. We were seeing two completely different things simply for perspective's sake.
Well, and due to lighting.
And yeah, whatever it. Two people in the same room could be looking at it and see two different things, though. That was the craziest. On the same screen.
That is true. She did have even people come to look at the dress just to get an answer.
So crazy. Anyways, so this is just a more real life consequences version of that we as humans do fill in the blanks. Whether it's visually or there's too much movement going on, our brains fill in the blanks. It makes sense of things. And the way that it uses sense is pre-existing information in our brain. So our bias is going to play a major role in how we see something that somebody else is going to see completely different.
Right.
And it's really hard to overcome that. There was a couple things I wanted to either play a game or there's a test, which I think is too boring. So we're not going to do that. But Harvard has bias testing.
Okay.
Highly recommend. I'd like to give you a little bit of homework. I kind of want to talk about it next episode.
Yeah.
And I'll show you the link. There's multiple bias spots. So there's like weapons bias, race, gender, there's like fat, skinny, there's presidential, there's all kinds of different versions of the bias test. And it doesn't take very long. And all it does is have you group into here and here. So it's good column, bad column, and then it'll be a bunch of pictures of either white guys or Hispanic guys. And in one, it'll say, okay, it's not saying these are good, these are bad. All it is you're going to put the brown people in the good column, you're going to put the white people in the bad column. And then it just has you do it over and over again. And then it switches. Okay, now you're going to put the white people in the good column and then the brown people in the bad column. And then you just do it. It's not saying it's good, saying it's bad. It's just testing something in your brain that the little bit of a delay can kind of show some nuances in your bias.
Oh, interesting.
Super fascinating. And it's good to be aware of. And a lot of people that go into social work are required to go through it, not to like bar them from, but so that they can be aware of their own bias. Because when you're working with people, you need to know, I might treat somebody fat poorly. I need to actively overcome that natural bias.
Sure. I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So the bias of thin versus fat, or not so much, I mean, I don't know how they're presenting the Mexican, the white people. Like, are they presenting them as just regular pictures? Or
it's like a very rudimentary drawing.
Oh, okay.
It's not...
Because I think in some cases we can't judge a book by its cover. So...
Yeah, and it's not... None of it is judgment. None of it's moralistic. It's simply to be aware of your own internal bias.
Sure.
And you're not really supposed to judge yourself for it. You're not... I did discover this because somebody had such an existential crisis because she was going into social work and this was a required part of her course that she was like, I cannot believe they're forcing me to group brown people with bad and white people with good. Everybody in the comments like, oh, I don't think you're understanding the test, honey. They're not actually saying those are good or those are bad. It's just, and they'll flip it later. And she's like, I just can't do it.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, honey, I think you're getting into the wrong field.
Yeah.
Like, if it's this huge of a problem, if you can't even, like, test yourself, because there's probably some fear in there that she probably did have some biases, and she didn't want to know the results. That's what I assume. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
no, I want to know the results.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I'll take the test.
Yeah.
I'll get to more.
And all of us want to not be biased, but we all have biases.
I'm all right with being a little biased if it keeps me safe at times. You know, there's some bias.
But I think
that are okay.
naturally we don't want to admit to our bias. I mean, that's our court system set up. You can't go into a jury and say you have a bias.
True.
Without them barring us, but like to not acknowledge everybody has a bias is just so stupid.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have a bias. Yeah. It's just undeniable.
So, regardless, that is a boring thing we'll do off camera. Instead, I came up with a perspective test. So I have all of these little, like, line drawings. They're literally flash art tattoo things. So, like, that's a puppy. You can see it.
There you go.
Just as an example, they're all just, there's like a cross, a heart, some arrows, like a little like SpongeBob looking flower, a band-aid with a heart. So we're gonna pull one out and not show the other person. The other person is going to draw to the best of their ability the described item.
Sure.
So kind of like backwards Pictionary.
Yeah.
We'll try to do kind of charade rules where you can't really be like, we're drawing a dog and
Yeah.
then start describing it. Be very vague, but as direct as possible. And then we will screen record, so
You'll get to see us draw this.
editing skills will be tested, but hopefully you'll live get to see what we're drawing.
Yes.
Do you want to draw first or draw first?
Draw. All right, here we go.
Let me get my screen recording ready.
Okay. I've got my picture.
I don't know how to work iPad
Yeah, I'll
that
show
well.
the camera.
Yeah, go show, but don't show me.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Okay, let me open up my whiteboard. All right.
Here we go. All right. Can I say words like legs?
Probably just location on the page, so like bottom left-hand corner, right? Where should I start?
Oh, start in your right-hand corner and draw one
Upper, lower.
lower.
Okay.
Draw. Okay, so go. So you're over in the mid. Now move to about the middle in the lower and draw like a hump with a line down. And then make one short line, an indent, and then
Where are these? Where?
eh,
And an indent and up. Okay.
well, I'm just trying to direct your finger at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Behind those lines, you're
I
gonna
got a lot of room behind them, but okay.
you're gonna draw a curve, like a belly. Okay. And then behind that line, you will draw a straight line down, and then a small line across, and then up with a slight curve that meets that line that made the curve in the middle.
Maybe that's what she means. I don't think so, but we'll try that.
All right, up from that curve, so leaving those lines in the behind, up from that curve, you're going to draw a slightly slanted line. And then down from that curve, you will draw a slanted inward line. And then down. And a smaller line across. Up with a small indent. And then a slanted line up. Behind that line.
I know this is not what it is.
Can't wait to see it. Behind that line, you're going to
I'm at the
draw.
edge of my screen here. Okay, go ahead.
You're going to draw a small line, and then an across line, a small across line, and then straight up. Okay. Now, on top of those lines, you're going to draw a slanted line.
Lots of slants.
Okay, and then on the top of that slanted line, you'll draw kind of like a small curve across, and then a down line from that one. And then make a large curve all the way to the bottom of the rest of your lines.
Cool.
And then make a small horizontal line going up. Or small, man.
I've given up.
Okay, all right. All right. You ready? Let's see it. It was an elephant.
Yeah. I started running out of space over here and
Oh my god.
got confused and just...
Let me see it again. It looks like a kind of like a deformed Pac-Man. I feel like you followed my instructions.
Your your instructions were very confusing. They were constructions because they were confusing instructions.
You would not let me say legs.
I know! That was the point. It's supposed to be difficult. Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious.
They should just be random.
Yeah, they're really random drawings.
I know, I was like looking at them and choosing. How do I keep grabbing that same one?
Amanda's cheating.
I am cheating. I decided I want it fun.
Mandy's cheating. I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
Okay. Another key.
There you go.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. So, somewhat to the left of the center, just kind of give yourself a little bit more space, you know?
Okay.
So we're going to start essentially at the upper left-hand corner of the photo that I am having you draw. I will have you just make a straight line completely, what is it, horizontal? Yes, straight horizontal line.
A long one?
Well, it's the start, so that is the start of your...
Okay.
Okay. Approximately 1/3 of that length, we're going to do another line from the same corner that you started on, the upper left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to create probably like a, I don't know, 35-degree angle and come in. About the same length from that end point, go straight down. From that end point, do a slightly smaller line with about the same angle as the first angle I had you make. Up-ish. It's almost parallel with your very first line, but not quite. And then the second line that you drew, after it ends, a little tiny gap, and then as if the line continues.
What?
So like the...
Oh, I see.
Just have like a gap, but as if it's one straight line.
Going out?
In the same direction as that. So horizontal line, I had you do the second line with the 35-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
Do like a little tiny gap, and then just as if the line continues, about the same length as the first section. And then from that, go ahead and connect to the other end of your first horizontal line.
Okay.
To complete the thing. Okay. And then, okay, on that point that you just completed, you're going to have a line go all the way to that, to the part that is jutting out from the segmented line. So past it, you know, and meet that other line way at the bottom. And then...
Okay. Wait, meet that line right at the bottom?
Yeah, I'm just going to close it off, I guess.
Sure.
Okay, and then that first segment, so not the first line, but the second line you drew, that end of the first segment, just kind of make a line straight from that to that other point that you completed the whole structure at the tippy top.
Oh. Okay.
Done?
Yep.
I feel done? Okay, let's see it.
Yeah.
I thought I did a really good job at guiding you.
Your instructions were good.
And it's just, I don't know.
It's still messed up, but like, this was way better than the instructions I gave you.
I'm a math nerd, if you can't tell.
Mine's just fine.
And I was like, from where? The curve? What curve?
This taught me not only is this test hard, that also my brain is not great at giving a step-by-step instruction.
I was trying so hard to think what you might be looking at. Still failed. That's amazing.
It's great.
Okay. So where was your first line
Okay.
that I had you make?
So my
that
first
one right
line?
there?
Yeah, the top line right there.
Huh.
And then the angled curve. And then I thought you meant straight down from that one. And then another angled curve.
I mean, that's kind of what I told you to do. It's exactly what I told you to do. All right. That was fun.
So that's our perception test.
Perceptions are weird.
Sometimes you can see something and get it described to you, and it will be nothing what it was described.
No. Yeah. That was super cool. Venezuela, that apparently happened.
Oh,
I
gosh.
told her I wanted to do all this, and she's like, well, I also kind of want to spend like 10 minutes on Venezuela.
I know, and now I'm like, should I just do it next episode?
No, we can talk about it. I just didn't realize it was so recent. Like, I literally got so wrapped up in my psychosis. I'm just calling it a psychosis because it felt like one. It was a very momentary psychosis, but I thought that happened last year or something. I don't know.
The media broke Mandy. Well, it almost happened last year. Technically.
Yeah, it was
in
like
the Gregorian calendar it did.
That's what we run on now. What was the one before that?
What was it?
I don't know what they call it, actually.
Oh, well, if you know, comment below.
Yeah.
I did know that that was our calendar, but I couldn't think of the other one, so I was like, I'll throw out a name there. I sound sophisticated. Anyway, Venezuela.
Venga por mí. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Yeah, we kidnapped a president. Okay, not only that, though, we did, like, a warrant for his arrest. We did indict him.
And apparently he said, okay, yeah, I'm coming.
Yes.
I will surrender. And then just, like, last minute was like, haha, just kidding. Come get me.
He said, come get me, you coward. And
Yeah.
then Trump was like, okay. All in all, I think even, like, the most religious liberals die hard to the end. Fringe liberals had a hard time finding a problem with it. Because
Not at first.
kind of
Because at first it seemed scary. Before you had time, but it was overnight. So I like, woke up on a weekend day, and the first thing I see is that we invaded Venezuela.
Okay, so honestly, I wasn't that surprised because my husband had been keeping me updated about like, Trump was continuously talking about how he was going to invade
I hadn't
Venezuela.
realized how much turmoil they were in.
Oh yeah, their economy was destroyed.
Yeah. And then you see the crazy liberals that were not taking the time, that were just going with that
And
initial
usually
thought.
that's what it is. You just don't go and actually ever do your research, so your initial thought is always your thought.
So that initial thought, and everybody's having these, and they're like, pray for Venezuelans.
Because they're like, yes!
And in the comments, nothing but people like, in Venezuela. Hey, stop. We're fine. This is actually an answer to our prayers.
Mm-hmm.
None of us were injured. Like, we're totally fine. There's some government officials that get injured. We did some of that. Like, I saw all those comments and I was like, oh, dude, they're happy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they were stoked.
And then you start looking into it. The dude wasn't even legally the president. He freaking stole the presidency.
He did, and the last guy he stole the presidency from, and I do not
and he's
remember.
in hiding.
But yeah, because he's the one that laid the groundwork. He was like their first Democrat president.
Yeah.
And he laid the groundwork to wipe out all of their money. And that guy came in and stole the presidency and finished the job.
Oh, so he wasn't necessarily a good guy to begin with anyways.
No,
The
their
one that
last
would have
president
been-
was also running their country into the ground. They said
Are we talking about the same person?
Venezuela's president before Maduro. Whatever.
Yeah, so it's not Chavez that I'm thinking of.
Right, okay, so the president of Venezuela immediately before Nicolas Maduro was Hugo Chavez.
And that's the guy that you were talking about?
Yes, his political mentor who died in office in March 2013. So he took over in 2013.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is a third guy.
The third guy?
There is a man that was elected by the people. So Maduro got elected, started serving. Another election happened. The people elected somebody else. The election was rigged, and Maduro said, "Oh, I win."
Who was Venezuela's president supposed to be before Maduro stole their election? Venezuela presidential crisis. Venezuela. Juan Guaido?
Yes. That guy.
Okay.
So he's in hiding still. That is the president that the people wanted. So that's what started the political coup situation of the people like, whoa, 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 popular vote did not elect you. None of us like you. What do you mean you got elected? There's no way this wasn't rigged.
Yeah.
So that was happening. That guy's like in hiding for some dumb reason. Instead of that guy being put in charge, they're like, oh, hey, vice president, who's literally the right hand of the bad guy.
Of this dictator that we already have. Yeah.
That made no sense. Which, I mean, for them, I guess, they're like, oh, well, she helped us. She, was part of the operation. She told us where he was going to be. Of course she did, so that you could get him out of her way so she could now take over and do what he was doing.
Oh, my God.
So that's where we're at now. And she's like, you guys need to be hands off. Like, do not intervene. We will not accept it. And it's like we're just in the same boat. So I don't know where we're going to go with that.
I know.
Obviously, Colombia's pissed because they're right next door, and that's like a playground situation.
Yeah, well, Colombia is just as ran by gangs and drug lords. Yeah. So they're just awful. Beautiful country.
Yeah, I'm not saying
live.
But we're pissing them off.
Back to your comment about Putin coming in to take Trump. They wouldn't want to start a fight because it would be
that was
so
just
Cuba can't really attack us either.
No. But that was just my initial thought. I was like, that's crazy. How do you just kidnap a president?
Fun fact about that I wanted to share. While you were researching some Venezuela political history, I researched American history around this time. And I wanted to share this.
Okay.
Yeah, just like American history on the problem that we were having with overseas drugs and coming from Cuba and Venezuela and South America in general. So a lot of people at first were screaming, and I think that this is important to know, even if all the things have settled in the water, we should just know our own history and history in general. A lot of them were screaming before they kind of figured out more of what was going on, and thank you for doing your research, thank you for going to figure this out, that Trump didn't have the right to go over and take Maduro. So actually,
that was because that's China and Russia are both like, whoa, what you did was wrong. This is breaking international law. So that was a big,
right. Yeah.
Whether what he did was cool or not. Did we break the law? Are we about to start a war?
Sure, internationally, they were upset because of the oil that was there. So in order for them to go fight over such a small amount of oil, actually having to put a real fight in, not just be sneaky about it like they have been, they could bring up that it's illegal and whatnot, but I don't think that in the game of chess that they're all playing right now that would be a tactical move necessarily. But I did want to just read this because in America we do have a law that was written in the 1980s by Chuck Schumer. Some of you might know who Chuck Schumer is. He's a very popular Democratic lobbyist.
Okay.
And he was in Congress for a long, long time. He is what we would consider the lizard people.
Is he related at all to Amy Schumer?
What?
The comedian?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but I've never heard that.
That's quite a name.
Yeah. But Chuck Schumer, Democratic lobbyist, congressman, blah, 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 blah. In 1986, they did sign into law. It's called the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act, which was co-sponsored by then Representative Chuck Schumer. This act expanded the authority of the U.S. military and Coast Guard to interdict and use force, including disabling fire against drug smuggling vessels on the high seas that refused to stop after being warned. So before the Venezuela takeover, so during that time, he's like, we're going to come and arrest you. You keep sending drug boats over here. We're indicting you for this. a lot of people, and they were shooting down their ships and they were killing men for bringing in the drugs. And people were saying he was murdering people.
Which that's because it's international waters, and even if it is an illegal activity, it was the killing the ones that are in the water. You're supposed to kind of go save them and then try them.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think there's
know.
anything wrong with it at all.
I mean, morally probably not, but legally it is kind of a gray area from what I've read.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that all of the people in the news that are pushing for that narrative are the ones that signed it into law.
Yeah.
They're literally the ones that backed the entire law.
Interesting. Now that specifies the Coast Guard, but this was very much CIA operation. I mean, does CIA just have their own set of rules?
Oh,
and
I
it
was
doesn't
talking
matter?
separately about like the escalation to us going to arrest him. I was talking about like
Boats getting bombed.
because that was like big in the news, and that's where
So that was all covered by the 1980s.
right.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I should have given more. I was kind of trying to lead up to it with the fact that I had known that this was a possibility because we had been combating with them so much. And then I had looked up that law that was a law of ours. So it wasn't, because they were saying that we should have taken it to the Supreme Court, that Trump needed to get Congress to let him
Congressional
do
approval
this.
for an act of war, essentially.
But technically no, because it's actually written into the law. And so it was just an enforcement of our laws.
Interesting.
Right. And our laws are a part of NATO. It's not like NATO and surrounding countries are unaware.
And that's what people also forget is the nuance of laws.
Right.
So that's been an argument going around about this whole good thing of what is authorized use of force and use of deadly force. Rather than the DOJ's use of force, everybody's utilizing the Department of Homeland Security's use of force, which the DHS does not govern ICE. The DOJ does.
Yeah.
So using that as an argument, because if ICE was governed by DHS, what he did was absolutely unequivocally not allowed. Because a vehicle, so the DOJ is the one that if they were responsible for ICE, then their use of deadly force policy would absolutely show that he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll read why.
Okay.
The Department of Homeland Security's, on the other hand, absolutely sides with him, in my opinion. But we'll see. And I hope so, in an investigation. The DOJ force, law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice may only use deadly force, only when necessary. That is, when the officer has reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject, which that would be the first argument.
Which that law changed in the 80s too.
This is active, up-to-date Department of Justice law.
Oh, yeah.
So it depends on which department, which actual law enforcement agency you're talking about. Each one is ruled by different laws.
Right.
So there is no blanket, this is how it is, this is how it's not.
Yeah.
So then there's been arguments like, well, they're not supposed to put themselves in danger. Like ICE agents aren't supposed to. And then there's people that are like, I've been in law enforcement and you absolutely as a cop get taught that very maneuver of the L maneuver of going around a car. And it's like, that might be the case as a sheriff.
Yes.
But is that the case as an ICE officer?
Right.
So nuances matter. There is no blanket right and wrong in America. It depends on which department you are. Anyways, the second part, so this is the more important. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at moving vehicles unless 1. A person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. The vehicle itself cannot be the use of danger. So I'll reread that part again because it is kind of important. A person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. So the means of deadly force cannot be the vehicle itself. Per the DOJ. Again, ICE is not governed by the DOJ, so
Right.
this argument's null and void, but everybody keep bringing it up, so let's talk about it.
That's good information to know.
So the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appears to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. Firearms may not be discharged from a moving vehicle except in exigent circumstances, which that doesn't apply because he wasn't in a moving vehicle. So if feasible and if to do so would not increase the danger to the officer or others, a verbal warning to submit to the authority of the officer shall be given prior to the use of deadly force. Warning shots are not permitted outside a prison context. Outside of prison context.
Right. So that's why a cop can't just shoot you down if you run off in your car.
Right.
Which they actually used to be able to. In the 80s, we changed that law to where they...
Oh, when you said they changed it, I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, no, I was saying that they changed the law in the 1980s. Before that, they were allowed to shoot anyone that ran away from them.
Right.
And they changed it because they were like, well, you could be shooting a completely innocent person. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But it does deter people from running. If you're a sane person, you don't run from the cops. You wait it out, you talk to them, you have a conversation, and you move on with your life. Most people's first thought isn't, oh, that's a cop behind me. Run!
Yeah. And that depends on the state, too. Washington specifically has, what do they call it? They can't even pursue, like, motorcycles and stuff.
Yeah,
though. They're not even allowed to pursue them. They're not even allowed to, like, take part in car chases.
Yeah, that's a state law. These are the DOJ, obviously, is a federal law.
That one's interesting, though, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so now this is what is actually governing ICE is, I was so mistaken before, the Department of Homeland Security. Now, their verbiages are somewhat similar, but they have a Fourth Amendment reasonableness standard.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the part that is going to really play a factor in any investigation. Because rather than with the use of 20/20 vision hindsight, the reasonableness of a Leo's use of force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene. So regardless of us being able to look back and was he an inch further? If he was 6 inches this way, he wouldn't have been in danger. If none of that matters.
Right.
Because in his position, standing there, he was under the belief that his life was in danger. And so that's where the arguments end, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I don't think we need to take this into court or drag this out.
There needs to be an investigation just so that we can, like, just
and there's always, if a cop has to kill someone, there's always an investigation. They have to close up the loose ends. They have to make sure that everything was done by the book. And so it'll be the same in this situation. And if they do come up with something where it was like, no, this was, this or that, I highly doubt they'll have enough evidence to prove that he did anything with any malicion,
Yeah. And then isn't it fun that his wife happens to be an immigrant?
Oh, yeah, you did. You sent that over to me.
That's so fun.
Yeah. ICE isn't against legal immigration. They're against illegal immigration. There are the conservatives that will tell you that we need to quit having immigrants in general for a few 10, 15 years.
Trying to quietly open this, sorry. Yeah, I just found that to be such a funny little, it felt like a Psyop sprinkle.
J.D. Vance is our vice president. His wife's an immigrant.
Yeah. So is our president's.
It's different when they're white. You know that. We all know that.
It's
Don't
different
pretend.
when they're a size 0 and have modeled and, oh my gosh.
White.
Somebody was joking. Okay, I'm glad I had this thought. It was a funny thought, but it isn't. Greenland. Why the hell do we want Greenland now? I know why, but leave those people alone. We already have our thing there. We're allowed to operate our military out of there. Why do we have to, own it?
Oh, why does he want it just to...
So, I understand why again, but it's god damn, dude. Quit playing a game of Risk. And if you're gonna play a game of Risk, shut up about it. Play poker right, dude.
Fair. Trump has a bad poker face.
So bad.
He didn't... We gotta give it to him with Venezuela, Maduro. He did not...
I bet they had him locked in a dark room tied up. Yeah. Are you kidding me? There's no way they didn't take his phone away.
Oh, you mean Trump? Oh,
yes!
100%.
There's no way that he was able to keep quiet about that
willingly.
willingly.
You're so right.
Within days, he's threatening Mexico, not just certain cities in
Oh, he
Mexico,
did it.
not all of Mexico needs to get, you guys are ran by the car. It's like, dude,
He did it
they might all be small militaries, but if you piss all of them off, they can team up against us.
Oh, yeah. No, he did an interview right after Venezuela, and they were like, well, what are you going to do if Cuba's president isn't surrendered? Basically, he was like, I mean, fuck around, find out. I'm just going to go take him, too.
Yeah, and whether I disagree with him or not, and honestly, in this case, I kind of agree with what he's doing, but shut the fuck up!
I totally agree with you there. 100%. Keep your mouth shut, dude. There's an element in the surprise.
Anyways.
Yes, 100%.
I am so glad we sat and talked because I legit was feeling so crazy.
I was glad when we were, I was like, we have to talk about it tonight.
I had to. Thank you guys for hopefully not thinking differently of me.
Well, and if you do, that's your bias and your opinion, and you have every right to it.
I'm honest about it.
Yes, we try to be honest. We can't act to save our lives, obviously.
No, I know, my best friend, I was telling her how we lost that hour and we did the spicy and the gift again.
Yeah.
She's like, did you just, like, pretend? Was it really fun? I was like, no.
No.
Fully honest, neither one of us are capable of anything that is not genuine.
We're pretty much. So this sucks. We already did this, but you guys get to watch us do it again.
So funny. Hey, you guys want to see a third pair of shoes? These are Hobie Bears. New favorite brand. Awesome. Super cheap.
The whole computer just turns off.
Anyways, I have turned into a shoe snob somehow.
I guess.
I've bought like so many, these are not expensive, but I've bought so many shoes in the past like year.
Oh, look at her bragging about her shoes.
These are really nice though. I was glad I got them because I broke my toe. I think I mentioned that last time, maybe
You
not.
did.
But yeah, these allow for space, so that's been nice. And I can't wear my toe shoes probably for another week.
Oh.
So depressing. Ah, Mandy's feet. If y'all want to support my shoe habit, you know who to email.
Girl, you are looking too desperate. Yeah, be like, I don't even care if you subscribe. We do care. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
I don't know what we have coming up. I expect World War III to be officially announced next week. We'll talk about that. Just kidding.
Just we'll talk about whatever we want.
I don't know what's gonna happen in the next week, but
Oh, girl, I mean,
what a crazy year.
like you said, every Saturday. Oh, it's not every Saturday. It's just that
He
it's
definitely
always
picks
on
Saturdays.
Saturday.
That's fascinating.
It's
This
probably-
presidency.
It's probably because they drug him Friday night, so he's passed out the entire day. So they're just like, he can't say anything on his Truth Social.
So funny.
We just give him a little sleep meds.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, well, always keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out.
Keep challenging your bias, even if it makes you feel crazy.
Yeah, because you'll get to the answer.
You will. You'll feel okay as long as you just seek the truth.
Have a great night, you guys.